In this video, we're going to talk about your spouse, something about your spouse according to the planet that is placed in your seventh house. Because in astrology, in Vedic astrology, seventh house represent your spouse. Actually, seventh house represent a lot of things, right? Like it represent a spouse, it represents seventh house represent your sexual partner, seventh house represent your marriage, it represent your adultery, it represent your lust, passion, it represent nature or the character of a spouse, it represents sexual union, it represents sexual love affairs, it represents your journeys, it represent partnership in business, and a lot of things, right? A lot of things are represented by seventh house. So one of the things that is represented by seventh house is spouse. So today we're gonna talk about that. Okay. So if you are male, you can watch this video for your wife. If you are female, you can watch this video for your husband. But still, I'm just telling you, just by seeing that sun is placed in your seventh house, you can maybe it can happen that your spouse may have average height. Now voice will be very deep and very commanding voice, you can see, not very charming but a commanding voice, right? Because sun is itself an authority, and when authority is in your seventh house, it shows that your spouse is like authoritative in nature, and he or she will have a commanding voice, right? Maybe working in government sector, or maybe entrepreneur, the boss of their own. You have to be subservient in front of them, definitely, if you have sun in the seventh house, right? Maybe little bit egoistic in some cases, not in every cases. If it's working like in negative way in your chart in the seventh house, then it may possible that little bit egoistic can also be there. Although the personality is good when you have sun in the seventh house, because obviously sun is like the center of attraction also. Sun is is significator of fame also, so could be famous also, like maybe some social media celebrity or real celebrity also. Due to sun influence in your seventh house, it may possible that your husband or wife could come from a well respected family also. Okay. So apart from that, when sun is placed in the seventh house, uh, maybe a high morality kind of partner you can expect, right? Also very independent thinking, right? This is important, they are highly independent, because sun is like itself an authoritative kind of thing, it's a king. So king is independent, obviously he will take advice from the people, but he will do what he wants to do. Now, before I tell you more about spouse, I want to tell you that I have launched my money and wealth remedy self-help course. Don't miss this chance, because I'm giving massive percent discounts for the first few hundred people who will purchase this course. In this course, you will learn powerful techniques and remedies to attract wealth and abundance using astrology. So act now and enroll fast. This offer won't last longer. Definitely check out this course on my website. Just take advice, and finally the final decision is of king. So that's why if you have sun in the seventh house, then obviously your spouse can be like independent, highly independent, or I can just say also can be possible that he or she could be from a rich family also. Okay, if you wants to know that, oh, my spouse can be from rich family or not, so yes, maybe if you have sun in the seventh house, maybe the spouse can be from rich family. uh, Also maybe career oriented. There it is also seen that when sun is in the seventh house, then spouse can be career oriented, because obviously that is significator kind of thing right there, because that is important for them also. Competitive and authoritative and leadership skills are there in your spouse. Like if sun is in the seventh house, then your spouse definitely have competitive, authoritative and leadership skills, right? So overall, these kind of things are seen when your sun is placed in your seventh house. Now these things can be molded if you have different planet aspecting it, conjunction of different planets. Let's say for example you have sun Venus, then it's like what it is like. Sun Venus are like charming personality, charismatic, attractive personality, beautiful kind of personalities there, although everything has their plus and minus, but the good thing is that personality wise, he or she could be attractive if sun Venus is there in your seventh house, right? So this is all about sun. Now let's move on to next planet, which is moon. So if you have moon in your 7th house, then your spouse could be good looking, right? Charming, have adorable face, could be, uh, maybe fair, and moon is the queen of planetary kingdom, and its placement in 7th house is considered to be its good generally. And I can say that it's considered to be very good actually. Now if you have moon in the 7th house, then it may possible that your spouse could be, he or she could be childish, like innocent in their look also, and also very motherly and caring kind of attitude. Like if you want a spouse who is like motherly and caring, is really good, because in that case the partner is caring. Now, before I tell you more about spouse, I want to tell you that I have launched my money and wealth remedy self-help course. Don't miss this chance, because I'm giving massive percent discounts for the first few hundred people who will purchase this course. In this course, you will learn powerful techniques and remedies to attract wealth and abundance using astrology. So act now and enroll fast. This offer won't last longer. Definitely check out this course on my website. She may cook for you, she may take care of you, and all these kind of things are seen when sun is placed in your, moon is placed in your 7th house. Now skin will also be silky and smooth when moon is there in your 7th house. Now moon is very good planet for good looking life partner, to be honest with you. If you want to know like good looking life partner, then moon in your 7th house is like a blessing for you, obviously. Moon in 7th house can give you a beautiful husband or wife. Obviously beautiful wife, handsome husband. As per astrology, this is true. uh, Again, I am just adding, we need to see other conjunction and aspect, and all these things are important, but generally these things are there. Now when moon is there in the 7th house, your spouse could also be emotional, okay, uh, sensitive, sentimental, okay, kind of things can also be there. Emotionally, sometime it's like she may be sometime emotionally feel low, like sometime high. These things are also be there, these things can be seen like in some cases. uh, Now when moon is there in 7th house, then your spouse could be home loving, like family caring attitude kind of person is there. So overall, generally we can say that. Also I would like to add one more thing, that when moon is there in 7th house, your spouse could also like to travel. So generally when moon is placed in your 7th house, then it is considered to be a good for you. Okay, now let's move on to our next planet, which is Mars. When you have Mars in your 7th house, then the one would get now when you have Mars in your 7th house of your chart, then the spouse appearance can be beautiful, can be slim, can be athletic also, okay, because Mars is like all these things. The placement can give like medium kind of complexion. Now, before I tell you more about spouse, I want to tell you that I have launched my money and wealth remedy self-help course. Don't miss this chance, because I'm giving massive percent discounts for the first few hundred people who will purchase this course. In this course, you will learn powerful techniques and remedies to attract wealth and abundance using astrology. So act now and enroll fast. This offer won't last longer. Definitely check out this course on my website. And Mars will give you actually a spouse with a good height. Now he or she have temperament problem, although, right, maybe like sometime angry kind of things are seen. And also like in Ayurveda there is pith, vat, pith, kaph. So maybe very heat, she or he had heat inside body, more like pith kind of thing is there inside their body. Now if it is afflicted, then obviously there may be some quarrelsome nature also can be seen. But if it's not afflicted, then good side is also there. They may be smart and talkative also. Now when Mars is in your 7th house, then maybe like the well built athletic type of body is seen. Also when Mars is placed in your 7th house, then one's husband or wife is like energetic kind of person. They have energy, influential also, right? aggressive, little bit of aggressive, although it's not that much like commanding like the sun in the seventh house. If you compare, it's less. Why? Because sun is the leader, it's like the king, and sun is the king actually, and Mars is like the warrior kind of person, he's like the army general. Okay, so you see the difference. So that's why it's also actually aggressive, but not that much commanding like the sun. Okay, I hope you get the difference. Now now also, it may also possible that they may be, sensual also. When Mars is there in seventh house, physical kind of thing, physical pleasure, sexual pleasure, they have more desire for that. These things can also be seen when Mars is there, because physical kind of thing is important for them. Also physically, he or she could be strong and attractive. Obviously, they would love to do exercises and work out, and all these things are important for them. uh, Now there are a lot of things that you can see, but again, you're gonna have to see aspect, conjunction, and then D9 chart, and then a lot of things for, seeing everything. So this is general prediction when you have Mars in this seventh house. Now let's move on to our next planet, which is Mercury. Now let's say Mercury is placed in your seventh house, then what kind of spouse appearance or spouse will you get? Now, if Mercury is placed in your seventh house, then a spouse could be fair, right? Good looking. Spouse could be good looking, witty, and a jolly kind of individual. And the good thing over here is Mercury is the significant of intelligence. So spouse could be intelligent and talkative also. She or he would love to communicate. Communication is important for you. If you have Mercury in the seventh house, then a marriage without communication for you is like the abortion for unionship. You can consider that as well. So you have to communicate. When Mercury is there in seventh house, then communication is like the most important part. So you have to communicate. Now, before I tell you more about spouse, I want to tell you that I have launched my money and wealth remedy self-help course. Don't miss this chance, because I'm giving massive percent discounts for the first few hundred people who will purchase this course. In this course, you will learn powerful techniques and remedies to attract wealth and abundance using astrology. So act now and enroll fast. This offer won't last longer. Definitely check out this course on my website. Spouse can be of youthful nature, because Mercury is the significator of that. And, a spouse will look very young even in their late 40s if you have Mercury in their seventh house. Okay, so that's really a great thing, because your spouse will look younger. Their age will be more, and there people like, oh, your spouse is look so young. These kind of things are there. When you see some people, they have very younger look according to their age. When you ask their age, they're like, hey, I am 40, and they look like 32, and you are like, how can that be possible? So this is the influence of Mercury. The people who have blessing of Mercury look younger actually. When Mercury is there in a seventh house, then spouse could be logical, happy going, just playful, jolly kind of individual, very friendly. Also, he or she could be very friendly and very calculative by nature, right? And maybe he or she had good calculation, right? She would manage financial and household activity could very well, right? If you are watching for your wife, then it's possible, and also for your husband it is possible, because Mercury is the significator of all these things. So overall, you will get a very clever, intelligent, and a talkative and a youthful kind of partner if you have Mercury in your seventh house. Now let's talk about Jupiter. What will gonna happen if you have Jupiter's place in your seventh house? So guys, see, Jupiter is the blessing of God. First thing I told you. So Jupiter is one of the most important planet, and Jupiter is actually the planet which we see first if, let's say, you have any worst placement in your chart. So what an astrologer see in your chart, that if that placement has aspect of Jupiter, then the negative effect will be like go down, okay, or we can say in some cases it will nullify also. That much power Jupiter has. So can you imagine? That's why it's called to be a blessing of God, because it is the blessing of God, no matter where it sits.
Now, before I tell you more about spouse, I want to tell you that
I have launched my money and wealth remedy self-help course. Don't miss this chance because I'm giving massive percent discounts for the first few hundred people who will purchase this course. In this course, you will learn powerful techniques and remedies to attract wealth and abundance using astrology. So act now and enroll fast. This offer won't last longer. Definitely check out this course on my website.
Originally, it's like its nature is like the blessing of God. It's good actually. So if your seventh lord, which is like the Jupiter, which is the blessing of God, sit in your seventh house, so you can obviously imagine it's really good. So spouse will be well educated, have well developed body, maybe little may have well developed body. He or she will be well educated, fair, medium height, and will have magnetic personality. Overall, it's good actually. I'm again telling you. Now, when Jupiter is there in your seventh house, uh, then your spouse would be loyal. Okay, he or she could be loyal towards you. That is really a great thing. So if you want loyal spouse, I already created a video on loyal spouse. I discussed some combination over there. You can also see that, and one of the combination is that if you have Jupiter in the seventh house, then there are chances that your spouse would be loyal. He or she will be dedicated, caring towards you, right? Loyal, dedicated spouse, and a caring nature is also there. Although moon also give caring nature, but Jupiter can also give you caring nature. Very honest spouse. This is the great thing, because if you want an honest and dedicated loyal spouse, then Jupiter in the seventh house is like blessing for you. Very wise, knowledgeable kind of person, and he or she could be full of wisdom, right? See, wisdom comes from Jupiter. So if you have Jupiter in the seventh house, then definitely your spouse will have a good wisdom. Now again, I told you earlier that Jupiter in the seventh house is like divine blessing. It's the blessing of the God for you. So guys, overall, it may also possible that when Jupiter is placed in your seventh house, she could have or he could have interest in spirituality kind of thing, spiritual things. Okay, these things are also possible. So overall, it's really a good when you have Jupiter in the seventh house. Now let's talk about my favorite planet, which is Venus. What will gonna happen when Venus is placed in this seventh house, which is beauty, which is passion, which is fashion, which is all amazing, luxurious lifestyle, amazing, everything which is amazing in this world is Venus. So what happened when it sit in your seventh house? Obviously you can guess it. It's good actually. The person who have Venus in their seventh house most definitely will have beautiful charismatic look spouse. Okay, so if you are female then and you have Venus in the seventh house, then obviously your husband will be handsome and very amazing, very creative kind of a spouse you will have. And I can say simply that it's actually amazing to have Venus in your seventh house in terms of beauty and luxury, comfort, these kind of things. Also, spouse may interested in creative arts, media, any kind of Venus related domain kind of things. He or she could be interested in that when you have Venus is placed in your seventh house.
now before I tell you more about spouse, I want to tell you that
I have launched my money and wealth remedy self-help course. Don't miss this chance because I'm giving massive percent discounts for the first few hundred people who will purchase this course. In this course, you will learn powerful techniques and remedies to attract wealth and abundance using astrology. So act now and enroll fast. This offer won't last longer. Definitely check out this course on my website.
Okay. Also, when Venus plays in your seventh house of your chart, then basically, bless it. Basically, Venus bless native with stunning, smart spouse, right? And especially if you are a man and you have Venus in your seventh house, then you just stand out of the chair and jump and just do some celebration, because obviously this is like the best thing, because you're gonna have a very, very beautiful spouse, very beautiful wife, especially for the man, because for man Venus is placed in your seventh house, and also for man Venus is the significator of their wife, so it is placed in your seventh house. It show amazing beautiful spouse. Okay, this is actually a good placement for marital happiness. Although Venus in seventh house, the person who have Venus in seventh house, they will get amazing spouse, but actually from inside they themselves are like attracted towards many, females. So this is like the thing. So but they are lucky because they will have amazing spouse, amazing partner, I can say that. He or she would be romantically inclined towards you, fond of obviously physical sexual pleasure also, uh, can be from very rich family, and he or she could also fond of luxurious leisure also, like she or she want all comfort and all these kind of things. So overall you will get amazing kind of a spouse, beautiful, creative kind of person if you have Venus is placed in your 7th house. Now let's talk about Saturn. Okay, so what will gonna happen if Saturn is placed in your 7th house? So see, uh, Saturn when placed in your 7th house, then your spouse could be like, old from you, right? Older from you. Or if it's not older, then he or she could be mature, more mature than you, right? So when Saturn in 7th house, actually I have seen whether it's actually practical. I have seen in many chart that when Saturn is there in 7th house, whether they have an older spouse or they have the spouse which is uh,
Now, before I tell you more about spouse, I want to tell you that
I have launched my money and wealth remedy self-help course. Don't miss this chance because I'm giving massive percent discounts for the first few hundred people who will purchase this course. In this course, you will learn powerful techniques and remedies to attract wealth and abundance using astrology. So act now and enroll fast. This offer won't last longer. Definitely check out this course on my website.
like us, younger than them, but very mature, right? Very mature and practical person. uh, for although we need to see a lot of combination for this also. Now if Saturn is there in 7th house, some people say that you will not have beautiful spouse. Actually this is wrong, because if Saturn is there in 7th house, maybe some planet other is in your 1st house, 2nd house, 8th house. We need to see a lot of things, right? So I have, to be honest with you, I have seen some chart which actually the person have planet Saturn in the 7th house. Even then he have such a beautiful spouse, like what can I tell you? And she is practical and mature also. That is due to like the planet Venus etc in the 2nd house and a lot of other placement also. So that's why overall chart analysis is required. So you can just go for personal consultation, links are in description. Okay, so when Saturn is there in 7th house, then Saturn can make your spouse slim and tall also. Okay, and also when Saturn is placed in your 7th house, then it make your spouse very practical and disciplined, right? Matured kind of individual overall, I can say. Also Saturn is a significator of delay. So when Saturn is placed in your 7th house, it may possible delay. Now listen, it may possible that you will have delay in your marriage. Now just stop over here. I am saying it may possible, not in every cases, because again I have seen person having Saturn in the 7th house and some other planet aspecting the Saturn, due to which they even get married at the age of 21, right? So it is not like that for everyone, but in some cases it is seen, right? So for that again full horoscope analysis is required. Now Saturn in the 7th house will give you very dutiful, accountable, sensible, hardworking kind of individual. They are more work oriented focused towards their work. If you have Saturn in the 7th house, then your spouse is like very, let's say for example you are a male and you have Saturn in your 7th house, and your spouse, your wife is like housewife, then they work like the housework or the home kind of work that they do, like any cooking and all these kind of stuff. They do it with their heart, they do it with the very dedication and in a very good manner actually. So that's really great. Now guys, it is also seen when Saturn is there in your 7th house, and maybe your spouse can be less romantic but actually very trustworthy kind of individual when Saturn is there in 7th house. Now let's talk about next planet, which is Rahu. What will happen when Rahu is placed in your 7th house? See, whenever you heard this word Rahu, So Rahu is a planet which is like foreign or exotic kind of thing. First thing is foreign. If you want to see foreign kind of thing in horoscope, first see Rahu. Rahu is the planet which make person attraction towards foreign thing. So first thing I would like to tell you that if you have Rahu in the 7th house placement, then it is one of the indication, right, that you may marry someone who is from different country, foreign land, or from different religion or different caste, culture. These things are seen when Rahu is there in your 7th house. Now it may also possible that you have Rahu in the 7th house, still you marry to someone from your own country. Yes, it may possible, but still if the other indication is there and Rahu is there in your 7th house, then again you're gonna marry someone who is from different country. Over.
Now, before I tell you more about spouse, I want to tell you that
I have launched my money and wealth remedy self-help course. Don't miss this chance because I'm giving massive percent discounts for the first few hundred people who will purchase this course. In this course, you will learn powerful techniques and remedies to attract wealth and abundance using astrology. So act now and enroll fast. This offer won't last longer. Definitely check out this course on my website.
Now, if Rahu is there in your 7th house, then your spouse could be like different. Maybe they will have they will try to just do hair style differently, maybe try to put some brown or blonde color hair. They are like exotic, they are different from other people. So simply this thing can be seen. Also when Rahu is there in 7th house, then their life partner will be proved to be superior in mentality also. These things are also seen. He or she does not wish to follow principle of orthodox norms of society, like they wants to break the barrier, they does not wants to follow these bullshit society principle. So if you have Rahu in the 7th house, maybe your spouse wants to break the barriers, do something which is different, they would not like to follow your tradition, culture. These things are seen obviously. And the person who has the influence of Rahu like me, they do not wants to follow their culture, norms, etc. They want to create something different, which is good in some cases also. Okay, so obviously you have to change something old to create something new. Although when Rahu is there is in your 7th house, spouse will be sharp mentally, right? There are possibility that your spouse will be like mentally sharp, and intellectually also she will be like cunning, intellectually and mentally she will be clever also. Okay, when Rahu is placed in your 7th house. Finally, let's talk about Ketu. What will gonna happen when your Ketu is placed in your 7th house of your horoscope? Now guys, when Ketu is placed in your 7th house, then it makes your life partner very spiritual. Okay, very religious kind of individual. Spirituality, religion, all these things are seen when Ketu is placed in your 7th house. Also, if your Ketu is in your 7th.
Now, before I tell you more about spouse, I want to tell you that
I have launched my money and wealth remedy self-help course. Don't miss this chance because I'm giving massive percent discounts for the first few hundred people who will purchase this course. In this course, you will learn powerful techniques and remedies to attract wealth and abundance using astrology. So act now and enroll fast. This offer won't last longer. Definitely check out this course on my website.
Then it may possible that your spouse may have interest in astrology, occult, tarot card reading, all these kind of occult sciences, mystic sciences, something which is like different from the world or spirituality. The interest in these things are seen when Ketu is placed in your 7th house. Also Ketu give grayish kind of color, so maybe spouse would have interest like their hair, to turn their hair into this kind of color, like the blonde or grayish kind of things can be seen. Now when Ketu is there in your 7th house, then your spouse maybe do not like to be in front of camera. They would like to, like, let's say for example, they had given two options. One is to come and work in front of camera, one is to come behind the scene. Then if Rahu is there in your 7th house, then your spouse will choose to work in front of the camera. They would like to be in camera, they wants to be famous. And also I would like to tell you that one thing I forget, when Rahu is there in your 7th house, then your spouse can also be famous. Okay, because Rahu is the main significator of that worldly fame. And when Ketu in their 7th house, then Ketu is like Ketu doesn't care about the fame. If Ketu is in your seventh house, then your spouse is like, hey, I'm interested in working behind the camera. Okay, so these things are also seen. So overall, like spiritual and all these kind of interest in occult, etc., all these things are seen when Ketu is there in your seventh house. So guys, this was my analysis according to the different planet in your seventh house. So next time we will create more and more videos. We are going step by step on the upper level. So hope you enjoy this video. Please hit that like button and I will catch you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.